Hey folks, today we are taking a look at Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Laserback. Picked this guy up at my local Toys R Us. He was there along with Beast Hunters Bumblebee and Beast Hunters Wheeljack, which I will actually be getting a little bit later in the mail. But today I just had to pick this guy up. It was there, it was the only one, so I decided to pick him up. Now I wanted to talk about the box that these deluxe class figures are going to be coming in now. As we see here, here is Predaking, and I have to say I really like the design of Predaking. Except I think he's just a little bit too spiky. But hey, it's Transformers, ancient Transformers beasts, so that is pretty cool. He does come with the Toxic Strike Blaster, and the overall size of the packaging is much smaller than the traditional Generations or Transformers Prime boxes are. Here are Laserback's tech specs, and as you can see, strength and intelligence and endurance and courage are all pretty high. His lowest is rank and skill, so skill, if it's that low, he's pretty dumb, it looks like. The other thing I'm interested in is it says Deluxe Class Series 2, number 3. And here's the back of the packaging. We have the robot mode, beast mode, toxic strike blaster, fires 2 missiles, tail becomes a whip. Just your typical stuff. Join us, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. IDW scan, which is interesting. I'm going to give that a good scan with a QR code scanner. It's, let's see. Transformers graphic novels are available now at a comic shop near you. Other side, just the figure, and the bottom is a picture of him and the other 3 figures, Bumblebee, Wheeljack, and Soundwave. Now, I have to admit, when I saw the Bumblebee and Wheeljack in the store, I almost picked them up. But I've got them already coming through purchase online, so I'll just have to wait for them to get here. But I have to admit, what I saw in the store looked really good. So let's go ahead and open them up and take a look. Before we get on to the figure, I wanted to show you guys the new directions. So the directions they are putting in with the figures now are bright orange, and they're huge. I mean, they're massive. This is about twice the size, easily, of some of the other deluxes. And something that I find really nice is, one, they've got the bio of the figure on the directions, which I like. And then 2, which they've already started doing, they've got figure to robot and then robot back to figure. So they're doing that. But the thing I like is, the thing I really like, 1, look at the different styling in the numbers, and 2, they're clear. The directions look much clearer, and they're much bigger than they used to be. So I really do appreciate that. Laserback's Beast Mode is rather interesting and unique. It looks currently, at the time of the recording of this video, all of the Predacons Beast Modes are based on dragons. So we've got Ripclaw, who's also known as Circuit in the comics, and then we've got Predaking and the Sinner Twin redo, Twin Strike, that's his name. And then we've got this guy, and he is, according to the TF Wiki, a wingless dragon with a bird-like head. Okay, I get that. That works. But why are they all dragons? Is that going to be the theme going forward? I'm not totally sure. Oh, got a little mistransformation there. So as you can see, his beast mode is a four-legged dragonish mode with a head. Now the back, or the direct back, as you can see, is where the Toxic Blaster goes. We'll take a look at that in more detail in a second. Something I did note is I think this is actually mistransformed in the box right now. So we're going to show you what I think the mistransformation is. And even in the directions, it's not completely clear. The figure comes like this, with his back fully exposed and his tail pushed all the way up. I think you're supposed to spread the legs, the inner legs, out a little bit so you can bring the tail down more. That will enable you to take the gun, or the Toxic Blaster, and actually peg that directly into the Beast Mode's back, thereby forming an actual back to the Beast Mode. So that's just a personal thought. I'm not sure if that's actually true. it's very difficult to tell from the directions, even though the directions are vastly improved from the way they were supposed to be. The posability in this mode is quite good, but it's very hard to get the head to look forward, or straight forward. You kind of have to do it angled down. And it does have plenty of posability. It's got ball joints up here in the shoulders, hinge joints, and then ball joints here in the, I guess you'd call them wrists. Then the legs are very much Cheetor-ish legs. So one thing I have discovered is you can turn the leg off to the side like that. I don't know why you would do that in beast mode, but hey, it's got ball joints in the ankles and then double hinge joints here and then a ball joint in the hip. The tail can move almost all the way down, and this is where the tail will disconnect from the body. But then in beast mode, you can fold up the gun, though I have noticed that this hinge is a little bit on the tight side. Not ridiculously so, but it is a little bit tight. So you can get poses with him like this. The trigger for the gun, or for the toxic thing, is right here. So you push it and... well, it's not cocked. So you push it, and it launches. And it actually does launch a good 1.5 feet. It just bounced off my hand there. And one thing I have noticed is the gun, I don't know if this is actual paint on the gun from, or if this is a mistake, but it looks like there's slight brown discolorations on the top of the gun. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. But the discoloration continues all around this purple, but I don't see it anywhere else on the figure. No, I take that back. I see some right there on the foot, but that's the only other place I see it, is just that one spot on the foot. I'm thinking it was on purpose. The actual gun itself has these spines, but they're made of very soft plastic, so you're not going to poke your eye out. You can open this up, but there's really no point to it, because when you open it up, all you get is this black piece of plastic. There's really no point to this being open. I'm not even sure why that is there. And there's nothing in the directions that state it's supposed to be open other than it can. So that's a little bit weird. The actual missile looks more like a tuning fork than a dual blaster acid shot, but it looks pretty cool. Pokey, pokey, pokey. For the transformation, the first thing I've done is gone ahead and removed the missile. That will just aid in the transformation a little bit. So to start off, what we're going to do is take the missile cannon, or the toxic launcher, on its back and fold it all the way up. Then we will remove the tail weapon, which just pops off, and this whole rear tail part is super soft plastic. Take the tail section that is left and fold that up into the back, like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't collapse at all other than just folding up. Take the legs and straighten them out, or as straight as they'll go, and then reach inside and push the legs together until they snap together like that. And then we could just stand the figure up, thusly. Next, take the front arms and just fold them down a little bit, and take the hands. What I like to do is take the beast hands, fold them up against the forearm, and then push underneath to flip out the robot hands, like that. And sometimes that works, sometimes it just doesn't want to go. Ah, there we go. Man, that's tight. Oh. Now the hands are not on, they're just on swivels, as you can see. They're just swiveling around on plastic, so they're not on ball joints, so they do pop off pretty easily. For the rest of the transformation, we will lift the head far up as it'll go, and then open up Laserback's chest, like that. And then fold the beast mode head into the chest, thus exposing his robot head, and then fold his chest pieces back up, and that is it. Laserback's beast mode is rather interesting. The transformation, as you saw, is very much a Cheetor-esque transformation. For those of you younger viewers who aren't that familiar with Cheetor, Cheetor in Beast Wars and Beast Machines had a very bad habit, or at least the toys did, of extending the legs and doing something to the front part of the cheetah, and that was it. And unfortunately, Laserback does suffer from that kind of transformation. But I wouldn't really say it suffers. That's not being fair to the figure. Overall, the look of the figure is nice. It's got, I like the yellow, the golds, the reds, the blacks. The purple is the only color that I feel is a little bit out of place, but it actually is done well and the paint scheme works. For the weapons, according to the directions, you are supposed to open up the cannon like this, but it doesn't really need to be. You can just leave it closed at all times. There's no real point to having it open. The whip, or tail whip, is more like a kind of like a little club thing, but it's got no posability to it whatsoever. Speaking of posability, this figure is highly posable. Unfortunately, it has all the same posability that it did in Beast Mode. There's really nothing different here. Ball joint in the shoulder. There is a hinge here for the shoulder armor, so you can have it pointing up for some reason. Elbows bend almost a full 90 degrees. Wrists do swivel. There is no torso articulation. Head is on a ball joint. It's got some movement, but it can't do 360. Oh well. Ball joint in the hip. Then a swivel joint at the knee. Just under that is one hinge. Then there is a second hinge on the back of the leg. And then there is a third hinge in the knee. I'm sorry, in the shin. And then the ankles are on ball joints. So you can get a lot of poses out of this guy, but he is a little bit, just slightly top heavy with the bottom of the claws being on his forearms and just the overall figure's proportions. But all the joints are tight and it stands just fine. Let's go ahead and get him armed up so you can see what he looks like fully armed. The tail here, since it is soft plastic, as long as you get it lined up correctly with the hand, he's got no problem holding it. But I still think it looks silly. I don't particularly care for the tail weapon. The Toxic Blaster is fine. There is nothing wrong with the Toxic Blaster. I like it. It works fine. Like I said, I don't know why it wants us to open it, but otherwise it works fine. So, as you can see, his face is well detailed and snarly. The purple really works, and oh my heavens, he has a nose. Overall, I like the look of this figure. It looks really nice, and as the first beast of the Beast Hunter series that I've gotten a hold of, I think the Beast Hunter series is going to be a lot of fun. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not, as we're getting a lot of repaint/remolds, but as long as they're cool, I'm okay with that. I'm really looking forward to getting a hold of Predaking, Ripclaw, and the other Beast guys. I just hope they're not all dragons and all have the similar transformation as this. But so far, Beast Hunters is starting out very strong. If you can find this guy, I recommend picking him up. There are pre-orders available at BBTS, TF Source, and a couple of other outlets. I think Captured Prey also has pre-orders. I got this guy at Toys R Us, so if I found him in my area, he's out there. Like I said, I think this is a very good start to the Beast Hunters saga.